People, we have light wave logic, and they have just been shooting, and they're going to have one of those foundry partners that I've been talking about, and they have not been doing bad. I think they could do a run. Well, let's see. Now, these guys are one of those speculative photonics plays, because we were going to have this one, and then Poet is another one. Oh man, they're catching up to Poet. And then the other one that I was out of, I was in, but then I was out, because Mispriced Assets was talking about how if they don't get a foundry partner, then what are they going to do? That's what they kept saying. So now we have lwlg getting taken on by Tower. And wait, it's going to say Tower Semiconductor Development Agreement to enable high-speed, low-power modulators on Tower's PH18 silicon photonics platform. So this is not a revenue deal. Right now, they have under an agreement, collaborate to integrate compact, power-efficient modulator reference designs targeting bandwidth of 110 gigahertz beyond into Tower's silicon photonics process design kit. Integration intended to enable Tower customers to more efficiently design and implement compact, high-performance optical modulators for 400 per lane applications. Photonics. So the photonics is important. Oh, the photonics is the answer to the copper bottleneck. But as far as the INP wafer bottleneck, well, wait, it strengthens silicon photonics platform, modulator options available to the customers. That's what they're saying. Oh, wait, what did lwlg? Wait, I ran it through Rock. Wait, also, as part of the collaboration, they're going to have an upcoming engineering tape out. Okay, well. So, key step in their foundry enablement strategy. All right, proprietary EO polymers. Like I said, we didn't know how much it is. Multiple engineering, customer can join validation early. Ecosystem, they now have deals with 4 foundries, including disclosed one like Global Foundries, Sleetera, 2 unnamed. And now, Tower is a major player. Aims to low barriers to adoption and AI scale out. High performance. No immediate revenue from this. No funding, no upfront fees, royalty minimum, or revenue sharing disclosed. So we don't know. Considered still. And we want to look. Their 2025 revenue tiny. They just had their earnings. Didn't impress because people are waiting on this kind of news. But the volume and production, meaningful license and royalties, not anticipated until 2027, which I would say that's not bad. Plus, we're seeing this kind of news, but you want to keep that in mind because they probably will pull back after this. That was a crazy gain. Overall positive. And then I was asking, does it mitigates the INP bottleneck? Though it's not a complete replacement, more of a complementary alternative path for key components in high-speed optical interconnects. And obviously we have the real and growing shortage of indium phosphide, because what is that, people? I don't know, this could be interesting, because now maybe people are going to see lightweight logic as having more opportunity than ALMU, which, what the hell, pumped by that British asshole. So then we would also have, what was I going to say? I forgot. AXTI, that was one. And then on the other side of AXTI is this over-the-counter. And they're up 10%. Oh man, if this guy, but they have a $50 fee if you're trading America. And I have them on Charles Schwab. But we'll know in 10 days what's going to happen with this buyout news. If they're going to get totally bought out, which I really, really hope not, or they're just selling an asset, or they're not selling anything. And they're saying, guess what? We're keeping everything because things are booming. Then that could be crazy. That's supposed to be March 21st, but I don't have that confirmed. It was from something one on X. But my next one I want to say is mram. Mram had news today as well, people. And mram being totally shit on, which is really my most profitable company, I would say, doing the best out of any of them. And here, they're going to launch this developing manufacturer, of the magneto-resistant random mram. Persistent blah blah. Okay. Systems designs are running into physical performance limits of NOR flash, especially as process nodes move before 40 nanometers workloads become more demanding. With Unisys extending our MRM roadmap to higher densities, let me look this. Giving customers a practical way to start with Persist today. Migrate to a code and data MRAM architecture as soon as it is available. Unified code and data MRAM architecture bridges traditional configuration memory and higher density persistent storage, extending MRAM into traditional NOR flash applications where superior performance, endurance, and reliability are valued. So this NOR flash is becoming a bottleneck. Gives customers practical, simple migration path from today's serial MRAM device to higher density unified memory without requiring changes to system architecture or software. Initially offer Unisys family in densities ranging from 128 megabits to 2 gigabits using standard XPI interface operating up to devices are planned to feature qualification, minimum 10-year data retention at extreme temperatures, supporting demanding environments across automotive, aerospace, industrial, and edge AI applications. I think that's what people will like to see. And reviewing their last earnings, saw 55.1 revenue up 10%. Okay, and this is their Q1 guidance. Their long-term run rate, 3 to 5 years, 100 million. Cash on hand, 44.5 million. Debt-free, strong balance. There is a very low risk of dilution, people. Big potential in now the data centers, which they weren't before. And this one, see, this is what they were trying to say. In the next 3 to 5 years, so roughly by 2030, well, that would make a difference if they could say, because I think that would be impressive. They also don't talk about their backlog, which I think is annoying, because if they said how much money their backlog was, although it doesn't do anything for OPCT, which I say, but anyways. Unified memory announcement, high density. This kind of goes over it. The code storage, like a firmware boot code. Data storage in one chip, replacing separate memories. NOR code flash or something else for data. NOR flash limits. Slow writes, low endurance, scaling issues, all those things. Faster performance. Fewer failures in high write scenario. Simpler design. Reduces need for shielding batteries in harsh spots. Defense and aerospace. Satellite makers. And we know, people, there's going to be a lot of satellites they want out there. Then you have automotive, all those. Edge AI companies building smart sensors, drone, industrial robots. NVIDIA Edge partners, Siemens. Fast AI way updates. Local persistent. Another one that they keep talking about, which they also mentioned this in their call, is the gaming. All the online gaming shit. Would you also say Polymarket? Like those kind of? Kelshi? I don't know. Well, this is saying no. Industrial, high traffic logging. Config memory. No, I guess it's not. I don't know what this one is. Industrial and gaming. I don't know. Maybe it's not for that one then. That's probably your typical data centers. But this one, these are your main suppliers. And then you'd want to say they don't want to get that kind of stuff from China. Taiwan would be fine. And Micron is there. And we have all seen Micron's rise. So I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. We shall see. And there's a shortage of NOR flash. So that tightened significantly due to surging demand. AI servers, data centers. Price surges. Supply constraint fits into larger memory shortage driven by AI boom. So that is good too. And they're expanding to ease severe shortages. Because this aren't expected. So the new thing that we're just talking about, the samples not expected till Q4 2026. But we have other things. And, well, if they make deals that are, like, set in stone, people like that. But they have the Persist STT RAM, high reliability, current flagship sales. This contributed to 22% of growth for the low orbit satellite one. And this one, on-track production qualification May 2026. In July 2026, volume availability expected to ramp sales significantly in the second half of 2026. This one, their Persist and the Legacy, still selling steadily in data centers, industrials, energy management, and more, driving the bulk of their product sales. So overall, people, I'm excited about MRAM, and they definitely have more meaningful revenue than lwlg as of now. And last but not least, you have onds Palantir. They already had a partnership, though, going back from like last year in March, because that is one of the things that sold me on onds when I saw that Palantir liked them. But I think they just had to wait for their earnings. Well, because they acquired another company today, too, a laser one. So I made a shorter video on that. But this one seems like it's more the leader in the drones, Palantir, collaboration, unified data, streamline operation, enable scalable operating platform supporting adoption. See, all this requires mram as well, holding drone data. So, capabilities enhance onds' ability to navigate complex operational environments. Scale its autonomous solutions to provide aerial security and intelligence across defense security and public safety markets. Well, it's just coming over here. That should be certainly something. And onds earnings is going to be the 25th, March 25th. But anyways,